Gents, I just want to pause the episode for a moment to let you know about the Strong Men of Value Academy. You will have heard me refer to it a number of times, and I want to bring more attention to it. So this isn't just a program, it's a life-changing environment and community of men who are focused on personal and professional growth. We're looking at areas of relationships, wealth, and health, things to help you thrive and maximize your life. Imagine having bi-monthly one-on-one coaching sessions with myself, weekly group coaching calls, and an incredible brotherhood of high achievers by your side. Now we're diving into resilience, leadership, and holistic growth to not just succeed in your career, but to thrive in your health and your relationships. Your journey to greatness, it starts here. So join the movement and you can apply for the Strong Men of Value Academy. You can head to themanthatcanproject.com to find out more. In my opinion, part of what makes a great coach is someone who has walked the path that you want to follow down. Now, today's guest is a great mate and someone that I'm fortunate to see 5 out of 7 days a week. He's a big role model in my life for what I can learn to how to push myself physically and also gain a lot out of, or get the most out of myself physically. And he is just so incredible with his knowledge around strength and conditioning and really maximizing your own ability, but putting that into a team environment. So Chris Muckert joins me today, and he played NRL, which is the National Rugby League for those tuning in outside of Australia. And now he's fortunate to be a really highly regarded strength and conditioning coach and personal trainer. So he has worked with Jeff Horn, who's a boxer. He's working with Dennis Hogan, who has an upcoming world title fight. He's also working with the Brisbane Broncos in the NRL as well. So it's cool to be able to learn from someone who went through the NRL system and as a player, but also now getting to hear his perspective on the flip side, things that he wishes he knew earlier in his career around nutrition, learning to communicate well, hydrating effectively, and just the power of energy, the energy that you bring within team formats and how that can really bolster the results that you're getting. So you're going to want to grab your pen and notepad out for this episode. For those tuning in for the first time, welcome. We have over 400 and this is episode 414, which is pretty incredible. So there's plenty of episodes to go through, which can help, just from the guests and also solo episodes, help you build your mental, physical, and emotional fitness and really build awareness around who you are as an individual so that you can maximize your quality of life. Now, if you like what you hear on the podcast, please leave a review, share it on your socials, tag me, even reach out into the DMs. But more importantly, if you feel like you want to join a community of men from all around the world, it's a global community and we have incredible members, right? Guys that are a part of our Strong Men of Value Academy, which is helping men maximize their life by building mental and physical fitness. Essentially, you got to work the mind as much as the body. And we have guys who are highly successful in business, in life, with their physical health, with their mental health, in relationships. And the great thing about this whole community is while we work together in 12-week game plans and striving towards greatness, you also get to learn from the lived experience from other men who are prepared to share with you the triumphs, the challenges, the mental setbacks along the way, which is a really powerful thing. If you've ever been part of it, you know what I'm talking about. And for those who haven't, and you're sitting on the fence, the best thing you could do is just check it out. So head over to themanthatcanproject.com/strongmen of value and you can find out more information there. And if it feels like it's a good fit for you, click on the application link and we would definitely love to have a call to see whether our community can add value to there. Anyway, that's enough from me. Make sure you leave a review, share it. Let's get into the episode with Chris Muckert. The Man That Can Project podcast, a podcast empowering career-driven men to live more fulfilling lives. We are here to challenge your beliefs, redefine success, and talk about the important stuff in a relatable way. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. My name's Lachie, Stuart. Let's get into it. Mucky!
Let's go.
All right. Episode
69?
Yes, it can be 69. Episode 414.
Jeez.
Mate, I am stoked to have you on. How good was that session?
I'm still a bit woozy, brother.
It was pretty hectic. So I've just decided to ease up on the track and jump back into a bit more functional fitness and
Yeah.
you invited me along today, which was it was a good session.
Yeah, I'm
a bit of
glad you came.
strongman stuff, but
It was good.
I'm not conditioned for it.
Yeah. You come into a 4th week of doing that same program, so the boys were quite conditioned to it, and you come in and you got flogged.
Yeah, one of my clients flew up from Sydney this morning and he's looked at me and he hasn't seen me for about 8 months and he's like, geez, you're skinny, mate. I was like, that's not what you want to say to a man who prides himself on physique.
You did well.
But, mate, thanks for having me in there.
Too easy.
Mate, I've been wanting to get you on for a long while. You're an extremely sought-after individual.
Is that right?
You are, mate. You're probably one of the... You would be. Mate, you're working with the Bronx. For those who are listening in the US, the Broncos are one of the NRL teams, National Rugby League. Hardest hitting sport in the world, apparently.
Mm.
You're doing a lot of great stuff with them, but also a former NRL player yourself.
Yep.
And just one of the all-time good blokes. You're also training how many boxers do you have now that it...
At the moment?
Yeah.
Just 2.
Yeah, because you're working with Jeff Horn now.
Yep.
Dennis has a world title on the 8th
8th October in Newcastle.
She's going to win. Well, Dennis has been on the show as well, so that's pretty exciting.
It is really exciting. I'm so happy for him.
Mate, his mindset is fucking unbelievable.
I've learned a lot off him. He's definitely very motivational.
Yep.
Yeah, no.
How'd you get into the footy field, man? Because you grew up in Gatton, right? Just down the hill from...
Spud Farmer.
Spud Farmer. Yeah. We actually played against each other without even realising it back in...
2011.
Yeah, I think. Was Jace Billage.
Jace.
And Bainey.
Bainey played.
Yeah, I can't even remember who won that game, but...
Yeah, Jace was telling me.
Yeah,
he
wild.
Was speaking to you about it.
Yeah.
Didn't even know you played each other.
Well, I didn't know. I didn't even know Jace played footy.
Yeah.
There you go. But we all played against each other and I was just young and dumb and naive. And
I was old and dumb. I shouldn't have been playing. I've promised. So I was in Gatton until I was 15 and then went to, played all my juniors for the Gatton Hawks and then went to Townsville when I was grade 11.
Was that for footy or you just...
Yeah. The Cowboys signed me and Super League, that was, Jesus, I don't want to say it, but 1997.
So this is pre-NRL. This is
Super League come out. Yep. And then they paid for my schooling. Like it was about $25,000 a year.
Yep.
And you could either go to Kerwin, and at that stage Kerwin was the rugby league school, or Mum and Dad wanted me to go do boarding school.
Yep.
And have a go in grade 11, 12.
Okay.
Yeah. So, it was good.
What was that like as a young fella? Like, were you pretty excited about the opportunity, or were you more so, a homebody at that point?
No. Oh, yeah. Like I was actually a year ahead of myself because I'm born in January.
Yep.
So I was in grade 11 in Gatton, and then went to Townsville.
Yep.
And redid grade 11 and then grade 12 in 1998.
Yep.
And it was just awesome to muck around that last year in Gatton, and then go up and have a dig.
Yep. Was that always Townsville. Like what you were set on doing, playing professional rugby league, or just unfolded for you?
I sort of made a decision. I think when my dad had a farming machinery company, and I'd go either work out in the farms to make money when I was 13, around that age, 13, 14, and then Dad would get me in to the shop and sweep and
So you had good work ethic on you.
Well, it was had to make some money, for the good times when you're 14. Pay for those lollies.
Yeah, I know. It's like 10 cents for a red skin, and those were the days.
Jazz. Yeah. But basically when I was 15, I was like, oh, I don't want to do this. Like I don't enjoy. It wasn't my thing.
Yep.
And I didn't know if I was going to make it, but I thought I'm going to have a dig.
Yep.
And I look back on it, and I train a lot of 14, 15, 16-year-olds now.
Yep.
And they, a lot of them can't do a push-up properly, or like they haven't been taught at school. And back then, Dad made me a chin-up bar, and I was, doing.
So he was investing in you back then, really.
Well, I'd ask for it, and he'd make it for me. Whatever. Yeah, I had a pretty good upbringing.
Yep.
Like I wasn't too bad of a kid, but
saving that for now.
Yeah.
Nah. But so yeah, even I see that for a lot of young fellas now as well. They're not taught, because you obviously not spud farmer, but you grew up in Gatton, so
Yep.
we're introduced to some tough work from a young age. So I believe you develop that work ethic from a young age, and
Yep.
especially when you're doing physical stuff, you learn to use your body better. You learn proprioception, build strength, which
100%.
is definitely transferable for going into sport or even just life with a stronger foundation. I believe it's one of the things that I was lucky with, doing all that sort of stuff from a young age as well.
Yep.
Whereas there's a lot of people now who don't get experiences like that, and they don't know how to squat properly, move properly, and they're learning this at 30 and 40, and it's a bit harder to build those movement patterns now as well.
Yeah, definitely.
And obviously moving into sport or moving into rugby, you have that better foundation from a young age. But moving up, so
I was just going to say, when I was 13, my brother-in-law's brothers were gym junkies, and they brought me into their gym and taught me how to lift. And I was squatting when I was 13 and bench pressing and
mate, but look at the pipes on you. They're bloody big pipes.
More pipe than Telstra.
Yeah. But when you went up to Townsville, what was that like for you as a young fella? Were you just fully committed on to giving it everything you had, or did you sort of, when I moved over to France to play, I was committed to a point, but then I was also enjoying the partying and all of that sort of stuff. So when I look back, I don't think if I was as fit and as healthy as I am now back then when I was playing, I might have had a better crack at keeping the dream alive for a bit longer.
I look back and I reckon I trained as hard as I possibly could, and I like targets, and there was always one thing I've transferred over into what I do with coaching is having records and having it all being able to be seen. And I'd always like to see myself at the top. So, pushing yourself to be at the top of your groups and your peers, I think it's an important trait if you want to be successful.
Definitely.
This day and age, talent will get you only so far. I'd rather have a guy that works really, really hard and in my team and then try and develop the skills than
along
the other way around.
Other way rather than the other way around. I think that work ethic and that win, it's almost like it is a winner's mindset. You're prepared to do whatever it takes, sacrifice whatever is needed, and do those 1%ers really, because you do it really well with. I observe the people that you coach in the gym, and obviously what you're doing with the Bronx, but the 1%ers even around recovery, sleep, breath work, all of those have a compound effect on how well you're going to perform and even play or fight for that matter. And definitely in certain areas of life, like that's transferable.
Yep.
Because if you want to be the best in business, if you want to be the best partner, we can show up in certain areas, but if you let the 1%ers slip, that's where cracks start to appear and people wonder why their businesses fall apart or their relationships falling apart, because we are skipping those 1%ers.
Yeah, always. For me personally, communication is number one thing. Most things that have not gone wrong in my life are generally gone back to not communicating.
Yeah.
Whether it be business or your relationships. It's like should have spoken up and should have taken the time to explain, what I was thinking and and what they're thinking.
It's fucking hard though sometimes in the moment.
It's really hard.
Like, especially when you're a hothead as a bloke, like young fella, a lot of young men, we still don't really know. We react rather than respond. So if someone ticks us off or says something that we disagree with, rather than taking a moment to think about our response, we just fire back.
Yes.
And often we find ourselves in hot water, or the next morning, if Amy's kicked me out of the bed, the next morning I'm crawling back in there going, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. And she's like, stop being a fucking dickhead.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, I'll learn. But then sometimes...
Well, I have a saying, how you respond will determine the outcome.
Yep.
You got to really think about that one sometimes when you're a hothead like yourself and like me. And I think it works. At the end of the day, it's hard, but it works well most of the time.
Yeah, but it is definitely something that can be developed and improved? Because I would imagine with a lot of the young fellas you potentially work with, they experience that hot-headedness as well, especially in contact sports. Like you're going in there fired up a lot of the time. So, you see sometimes when you're watching the footy, like they bark off at the bloody ref or whatever, and it's, you can't change the ref's decision, etc. But in the moment, if you've been hit hard by someone or you've dropped the ball or whatever, you're just fucking angry. And you're not really thinking about how you should really respond. It's more so, this is what I feel like doing right now. And the more we're in situations like that, which is sort of before when we were training on the air dynes, and you had, 5 of us lined up on the air dyne, and we were doing 10 seconds killer, 50 seconds just dead stop. And you looked over at myself, Zach, and you're like, come on, boys. You've been a bit fucking soft over there, too much chatter.
No, it was just because I wasn't talking because I couldn't, and you were getting a little bit lippy, and I was like, I asked for your scores, and you were a bit behind where you needed to be.
Yep.
That's what I just like, and then next minute, the next one, you were on.
Yeah, and it's pulling us into line, and I think as we're developing as, I guess even as men, we need role models, whether it's yourself or other people in our life who are a little bit ahead of where we are and are prepared to fucking pull us into line, even if in the moment, like, because I was hurting, like I told you, felt like I was going to spew, so I was tanking it a little bit. But then when you pulled me in the line, part of me wanted to go, fuck off. But then the other part was like, I respect you and I'm grateful that you're holding me to a higher standard. And I think when we're growing, it's like, okay, well, we need to be able to separate. Does Mucky or whoever is pulling you up on whatever, do they want the best for me, which you do, or are they just trying to fucking stand me up, which sometimes in footy, part of the game's getting under the skin of the other players. But for yourself then, getting a crack in the NRL, what was that like?
I'm trying to think what year.
Mate, I remember messaging you.
2001. Yep. I debuted for first grade, but it's just funny. I had played in the trial matches, and I remember played against Manly in reserve grade, and I had a cracking game and got put on the bench in first grade trial.
Yep.
And they play in quarters, so it's 4 quarters.
Yep.
Yeah. And
in the trials.
Yeah. So it's so hot in North Queensland.
Yep.
I reckon I had about 20 minutes, and I dropped the first 3 balls. Like at the play the ball, I dropped it. Like just had 3 play the balls, and that was my quarter.
Yeah.
And then see you later. And then I sat. Yeah, I was just devastated.
What was going through your head after that? Like when you sit.
I'll never play first grade again.
Yep.
Well, it was a trial match, and my first trial match, and then you talk about how you respond will determine the outcome. Like I come back on and scored a try in the next. I had 20 minutes off, and then come back on, and I still dirty. I scored a try and played well the last bit, and then the next trial game. And come out and had a cracking game. Just went and practiced the things that I needed to, and so I got a game against St George in 2001, and it was quite funny. Tim Sheens, who's now going to be at West Tigers, coach, but he was the coach, and it was 32-0 at.
To St George?
St George, and I was sitting on the sideline after 28 minutes, and Sheensy called my name out, Muckert, and then I stood up and he looked at me and he goes, "Make a difference, son." And I actually, played okay.
How old were you?
I was 19.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and it was pretty daunting. I was like, come on, and I was like, what the hell am I doing out here? But I look back, like that's how I was feeling, but look back on the video and it's like, okay, you didn't go too bad, like sort of thing. And got to have a in and out of first grade there for a couple of years, and then 2003 played every game in the NRL, and I wanted to stay in North Queensland, but didn't get too much offered financially, and Brian Smith from Parramatta Eels called me and said, "Do you want to come down here?" So I look back on it and, sliding door sort of moment. But like I had a good time at Parramatta, but I was injured. I had 4 operations while I was there.
Can I go back just a second? Like for you, obviously, Cowboys giving you the opportunity and wanting to stay there, but offers weren't coming up. Like, because a lot of people fucking rag on footy players for taking contracts elsewhere, and it's like, what about loyalty and all of that? But you've obviously experienced the contractual side of things.
100%, yeah.
For you, what were some things that stood out in making the decision to go down to Parramatta as opposed to...
Well, we got offered 4 times more than what I was getting offered at the Cowboys.
That's
when you're 20, 21 years old.
Yep.
That was probably, at that stage, that was probably it.
Yep.
But...
was there anything more around like opportunity or the potential to play with certain...
Yeah, they were a good club. Like Nathan Kalis was a New Zealand captain, and Nathan Hindmarsh was and they were both in the forwards. It just didn't happen, to be honest. I got down there and got injured on the first training session and fractured me my thumb in a tackle on the first day. Like I strapped it up and kept playing, and then kept training. Obviously, first training run, like it's sore, and then went and saw the surgeon. Had to go in, get surgery on it. Like that was my first session at Parramatta.
And how long were you out for from that?
That was like 12 weeks.
Yeah, right. What was that like mentally? How was that for you? Because obviously that's a dream. You've just moved down, got something to prove.
Yeah.
And then getting a setback.
Yeah, it was tough, but at the same time, financially, you're getting paid the same, and that does help.
Yep.
Sort of thing.
So you didn't have that pressure, but for yourself personally, because you're a driven individual.
Yeah.
What was that like?
I think it helped. Nathan Hindmarsh had done his wrist at the exact same time. So we had an op on the same day, and we were both out for 12 weeks. So I was training with Hindy a fair bit.
That'd have been good.
Yeah. He's
got any good stories about the old fella?
Oh, yeah, we've got a few, but I don't know if I could tell them.
Yep.
I was injured a fair bit, broke my jaw. I finally come back and broke my jaw in the next game, playing the Warriors in a trial match, and had a head clash with a guy called Jerry Siu, and it was like it felt like I had 1,000 hornets around my head when I had a collision with him. It was pretty average, but I didn't know if it was broken or not. But I was in the sheds, and my mum had come watch the game, and I blew my nose and my eye socket. It was like Sam Burgess in the grand final sort of thing, similar sort of thing. But I broke the eye socket and the jaw. And come out, and it actually wasn't hurting, but it was just, my face was, and it was like, hey, Mum. Started crying. We've got that.
And you were still only like 20 odd.
Yeah, early 20s.
And so what point did you wrap up in the NRL? How old were you then?
I think I was, 26, 20,
So you had a good
27,
8 years, 9 years.
You just couldn't put it together, but it was funny. I went and saw a card reader when I had played every game in 2003, and she said you'd be retired at 27. I was like, right.
Yeah.
And then look back on it, and she was right. It was wild. Yeah. It was pretty.
Is there anything you would have done differently or any regrets around that time? Or
100%. Yeah. Nutrition.
Yep.
Like I used to train so hard, and then I'd be lazy with nutrition, and just eat whatever.
Yep.
And I'll just train that off. And then when you're at that age, you can get away with it a bit. But I think the coach at Parramatta at that time, there was no skin folds at Parramatta.
Yep.
And it was bigger was better that year. We were going to roll because everyone was bigger.
Yep.
So
was Piggy Riddell there?
Piggy was there. Yeah. Yeah, Pig was there, so he loved it. He was loving it. Big was better. Yeah. He led the way in that category, and it actually we had a good year with everyone, but it didn't work well for me.
Yep.
Fair. A bit bigger, got injured.
Yep. Couldn't move as well, probably.
Yeah, couldn't move as well. So kept putting on weight and was fit, but couldn't handle being a bit bigger.
What because obviously you work in the NRL now and work with young athletes and things. What would have been some specific, I guess, things around nutrition that you would have done differently or done better?
Well, they do it quite well at the Broncos, but just the education on why they're taking the supplements and why you should be eating this and what times and they do a good job to make sure I understand, because these young kids need to know, because you think they would know certain things, but they don't, and they don't understand how important it is.
Yep.
I try to give them
harp on it, especially the hydration of water. Yep.
It's coffees and no water.
Yeah.
I wonder why they're cramping, yawning before going on the field. How much water you had this morning? So a lot of the boys.
Yeah.
A lot of the boys, I bring, I've made them buy water bottles to come
carry
to training,
around.
and they're pretty proud of their
water bottles.
Yeti bottles. Look, lucky I got my bottle. So, just educating on the hydration of simple things.
Yep.
It's been good. Feel better. Sit down and have a meeting with a bottle of water.
Yeah, well, it's the young, and this is once again transferable for everything. If you want more energy and vitality, make sure you're hydrated.
Yep.
People just race around, literally live off coffee and don't drink any water.
Yeah.
It's like soft drink, coffee, or juices.
Yeah.
Or and you're like, well, how much water are you getting in?
Yeah.
I drank some on Monday.
It's number one thing that I've learned as I got older. I wish I would have drank more water. I hardly drank water.
Well, it's when I even come up to you and I complain about being fatigued or tired or whatever, and you're like, how much water are you drinking?
Yeah.
Not enough.
Yeah.
It's like I haven't drank today, so it's important to carry that.
My clients just I'm the water police.
What do you reckon, just 2 to 3 litres a day, or?
I reckon every 25 kilos, a litre.
Yeah.
So,
mate, I'd be tapping just over 3 now. Big dog's growing.
I've got to have 6. And then obviously exercise every hour, another litre.
Yep. Yeah, right. I'm well off. I'm definitely not hydrated. And are you into all the salt in the morning and all of that sort of stuff, or are you I'm big on electrolytes. Yep.
Yeah.
So you would just have the electrolyte tablets, or are you drinking Powerade, or?
No, I'm more so Hydrolyte.
Yep.
Yeah, to have a tablet of Hydrolyte in the morning.
Yep.
Yeah, before anything.
I'm a big fan of it.
Yeah.
I smash them.
Yeah.
And when I get home and doing a bit of stretching, I'll punch a few Hydrolytes, which is good. But then moving for you, when you decided to hang up the boots, what was that like for you mentally, and did you have an idea of what you wanted to step into next, or what was that transition like?
Well, I was at the Broncos playing reserve grade at that stage, and they made every player do some kind of course or whatever.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yep. So I was I did me Cert 3, Cert 4 in personal training. Yep. Yeah, while I was still playing.
Yeah, and then
it was funny, actually. This is a funny story that the Broncos and then Wayne Bennett had a meeting, and we got called into a meeting, and we're sitting around and looking at the players, and it was when the under-20s comp had just was coming in the next year. So there was about 10 players sitting there that were over 20. Well, I've got a feeling what's going to happen to this meeting. We all got the sack. So,
fuck.
Yeah.
So was that 2007, 2008?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yep. Fuck. And then from there, I actually, Darren Bain, your boss and my boss, we had a meeting to talk about me going to work for him.
Yep.
And that's how it all started.
Did you know Bainey before then?
Bainey and I are the same age, surprisingly.
Yeah, right.
I'm actually older.
Oh, yeah, because he turned 41 yesterday. Yeah.
We played against each other in 1991. We would have
Year of my birth, mate.
Yeah, we were playing against each other in under 12s.
Yeah, right.
Mm.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, he was from Newtown, and I was the Mighty Gatton
the old
Hawks.
blue bags, mate.
Yeah, he stunk. The blue bags.
Yeah,
they were dirty.
They're done now, I think, the blue bags in Toowoomba.
Good. Yeah,
I think they're definitely done.
Yeah, so from there I started with Darren. I was playing reserve grade at Wynnum, and
Yep.
Darren was the captain of Wynnum.
Yep.
And we had a little boutique gym
Yep.
in Bowen Hills. And just learnt my trade with Darren and a couple other lads there,
Yep.
Matty Ham and Dave Giorgio.
Yep.
And there was like 4 or 5 of us in a about as big as this room actually, and
Yeah,
we just
right.
made it work.
Far out.
Yeah, it was crazy. Hell for Life, it was called.
Really?
Yep.
And so when did it, yeah. Then you've obviously, what's it moved 3 times since then or 2? 'Cause it's obviously
Just 2.
Yep.
But just all the things that Darren
Yep.
incorporated then and
Yep.
just growing it from there. Like, the start of those Metcon classes, and we'd have them on a Saturday morning, and
Yep.
Darren and I'd run it.
And for you then personally, like moving into the coaching sides of things, did you always want to sort of stay in the football space, or were you just sort of, what was...
Yeah, it was funny how that worked. I was enjoying the PT side of it. And then
Mate, your attention to detail is phenomenal. Like, I walk around and I've got programs on my phone, and if I need to check what someone did last week, it's like, cool, the data's there. You're just pulling it out of your head, and you're literally on point
I don't
every
know
time.
where
It's
that comes from.
crazy. You're like I don't even know. It's like you are Google.
It is weird. I can't remember a lot of things, but when it comes to what someone did with their weights in 20 years ago, I can remember it. Yeah. It is a good trait when you're a PT.
Yeah, it works a treat.
Yeah. But no, it is good to record just in case.
Yeah.
But generally, I'm not too far off the mark, which is, a good thing. Well, Darren will tell you. I think he's coming on next week.
Yep.
If you talk about it, we've got workouts we used to do, and he's like, you remember? And I'll tell him the time that we did it in, kangaroo point stairs, and we used to go do them for 20 minutes and see how many laps you could get, and he couldn't remember how many laps, and
pulled the number out.
Yeah, stuff like that. No, it is a good trait.
Yeah, but then moving down the route, so how'd you enjoyed the PT sides of things?
Yep. Oh, yeah. So my mate, Adam Bridson, who's now the coach of Wynnum, he was the Colts coach, and they had an S&C guy that had to go back to, he was a Frenchie, had to go back to France, and he called me in, and then I was just like, had been missing the football side of things, and just getting to run water on the field, and I was like, this is for me.
It's hard when you leave that footy environment, or I'd imagine any team environment. You can't really create that anywhere else. Like we focus a lot on community and what we do, but there's still something about fucking having a common goal, obviously, to try and win the grand final, but going through all the shit sessions together, if penalties are there, you have to do the punishments together.
Yeah.
Just understanding that whole sort of 8 to 10 months together is memories that you can look back and laugh on and talk about for the rest of your life.
Yep. I believe every male has that inside of them.
100%.
That they appreciate, and I've got a lot of male clients that talk about their times of playing team sport.
Yep.
And so I try and replicate that.
Well, you're really
with teams.
you're really good with that as well. Even getting all the lads together today, and we're all fucking heckling each other, ripping in, and it's just like that. You can feel the testosterone just oozing. But
one of the boys, he said, when I can smell the testosterone, I feel like I'm going to get pregnant.
Yeah, but it's like
it was going.
Yeah,
it was going,
and it's something about that. For me, even like I said, was saying earlier, get amongst it, maybe not feel like, I didn't really feel like push myself too hard today, but then because everyone's yelling at each other, I would have never put 100 kilos on the sled. No chance. I didn't even do that when I was training hard. I was doing 60. So for me, it's like, I got to do it. All the boys are doing it.
Yes.
And you're just like,
you want to let anyone down.
Oh man, you just demand more of yourself. It fucking sucked.
Yep.
But just that energy, and then fist pumps, high fives, bum slaps, like I love that.
Yeah. I didn't want to do it either. But as soon as that feeling, I just think about the feeling that you have after you've done it.
Yep.
And that gets you.
It teaches you a lot though. Like I think you spoke about earlier, like communication and times when things haven't gone well for you in your life has come down to communication. When you're in the hurt locker, that's when communication also matters most, is like being clear and concise, and or having people around you that are there to lift you up. Because I get in my head pretty regularly around all of that sort of stuff, and then having
You're not Robinson Crusoe there, mate.
And then it's like you sort me out, or someone sorts you out. So I think it's really important that anyone who's wanting to step up physically and also mentally is making sure you have good people in the corner, but also understand your role in the team. It's like if someone, footy drops a ball, like don't just go, fuck. I used to do that to the lads all the time. I used to have couldn't catch a cold, mate, some games. And, if you had mates just patch on the back, slap you on the bum or whatever, and just you get on with it. It's like you're a part of something bigger.
Yep.
And you know that we all fucking make mistakes, but there's still the common goal that we're working towards. We've just now had a setback, but let's get cracking with it.
Yep.
And you do that you do that really well with creating, one, getting good people together, two, having a really good energy because you just somehow do it.
And it's important.
Yeah.
Whereas good example is recently I run a couple of classes and I was feeling a bit flat, and one of the guys that was coming in for the session just come in with the best energy, and I was just like, it was just reminding me how important it is when I turn up to the Broncos or, wherever I'm with my boxers, or that I'm bringing the energy to, because they, when they're in the hurt locker, someone's in the hurt locker, you bring that energy, you'll basically, help them out.
Yep.
Yeah. It's a good trait to have, I believe.
Yep. And definitely, once again, something that can be, when you're aware of it, like when you're aware of things, you can improve them, you can change them. So if, thinking about how you shot, and once again, I'm aware of it. There's some days I drag my fucking knuckles into the gym or whatever, and I become the one that needs the picking up. But if I'm really, aware of it, I can do something, quick meditation or put on a pump up track to get in there and be like, righto, I've got to bring the energy for people because I want to help them get the most out of themselves. And it always circulates,
Yes.
One lad goes, and then you're like, righto, let's go.
Yep.
And it just continues to circulate. So I think in team environments, it's like when you're walking into a workout or you're walking into even the workplace, depending on what you're doing, but like bring the energy, make it fun for people, and you're going to get better results in all of those moments. Yeah,
definitely. That side of things, as a S&C with team sport, especially if you aren't going so well and while you're playing. So I was S&C at South Logan, and an example of that is I call it a golden egg. So I have certain players, like my golden eggs, they're the guys when you aren't going so well, I need to pull them aside as a senior player and bring some energy for me that particular day.
Yep.
And we have a guy called Luke Archer, if anyone knows him. Lukey's quite energised, and I'd say, Luke, can you bring the energy in the gym? And then we turn around, we have squats, and he's got his jocks in outside of his pants and just squatting like crazy weight and yelling and let's go, boys, and it's like
hyping everyone up.
Yeah, it's just brilliant. You got to have a couple of guys,
people like that,
and especially in the team sport.
I think just to, even for those who are I know for myself, like I'm really intentional with who I have in my life outside of work and everything like that, because life's a game of success, and we all have an idea of what we want our life to look like in regards to relationships, finances, lifestyle, etc. So for me, it's important to have people like that, like have the taskmaster who sort of challenges me and holds me accountable to the things that I say I'm going to do, you know, which at the moment, Amy, she's amazing at it. It's like she said, you said you weren't going to work after this time, stop fucking working. Like you said you were going to surf or skate or whatever, do that.
Yeah.
Then I've got, even, you know, I'm very fortunate. We go into Function Well every day, yourself and a lot of the other, like Bainey, and they'll fucking call you on stuff straight away. And for me, I'm like, cool, because if I'm dropping my standards, someone cares, right? And that helps me get back on. Obviously, we're once again very fortunate with our health. We work in health, so we're lucky there. But relationships, we've got so many great, you know, yourself and Renee, and there's so many people in the gym that have incredible relationships, and you get to, you know, learn from the bad stuff, but also the good stuff. Whereas some environments don't talk about the bad stuff, or they don't, you know, prioritize health, and that's not going to help you be the best version of yourself. So I think we're very fortunate, or I'm speaking for myself here. I've created this environment where I get access to the best of the best.
Yep.
I believe the best of the best in certain fields, and it's like, cool, I'm going to, you know, take as much of your knowledge as possible and hopefully deliver it, but that's helping me, you know, be better. And it's by design. It's not, you know, I didn't have you guys in my life fucking 7 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. So I've learned so much off Darren, business wise, and also that ability to learn off everyone and take the good things, and there's some not so good things you want to learn off people and not do that. But yeah, definitely, I agree. I'm still at Function Well. Like it's been 15 years.
15.
Yeah.
Hey, how good.
Yeah.
What's been the highlight for you
of the 15 years? Being on this podcast.
Well, I thought that might have been up there. I thought that might have been the case.
I don't know. I have to think about that. I'll get back to you on that one.
We'll do a little.
There's some highlights.
Yep. What's been over 50?
I'll say having my boxers in the gym and that, and going with Dennis with world title fights and you know, training successful athletes in the gym, and people looking around, seeing they know who they are, and that's been pretty.
Yep.
Having Jeff Horn in the gym and Joey Goodall, and a lot of the Broncos boys come in and work with me, and that.
They fucking love you. Like, it's crazy. You see professional athletes coming into the gym to see you, not you going to them outside where they're, you know, I'm sure the Bronx got their own gym, and, you know, Jeff Horn and Dennis and all that have access to wherever, but it's like, the muck man's here, let's go see him. It's like you're serious, you train hard, but you also bring a good energy where it's like, it's fucking good fun. It's
important in team sport.
Yeah.
I believe as an S&C, you got to bring it every time.
So working with these high achievers and also being one yourself, you know, literally you're an elite coach, you've played elite footy, you work with elite athletes.
Yeah.
What are some of the key things around mindset that you see have helped them and helped yourself be at the peak or at the top of the field?
Well, I reckon the communication thing, again, like, just continually talking to them about the things that are going to make them feel good.
Yep.
And why they're not feeling good, and having a solution for those reasons.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is there anything around like resilience, like, you know, because you said you had 4 injuries and you still ended up with 9 years in the NRL system and everything like that. Like, is a lot of those, like Dennis's mindset, for example, is phenomenal. Or maybe sacrifices that they do, all those 1%. Is there anything sort of around that?
It's, I think, having routine. A lot of the boys having the routine, and I know for me, if I go away from the things that work for me, like obviously you start feeling like crap, and things go in the wrong direction, and then you start working on your health, and then your fitness is getting better, and then everything seems to be working a lot better than would it be if you're being, you know, a lazy ass, or you know, not doing the things that work for you.
Yep.
For me, that's basic things like being organised for nutrition.
Yep.
I like drinking water, like getting enough sleep. Like,
Well, you pack your bag the night before as well, don't you?
Really important. Yep. Pack my bag and basically I'm in bed. Like my phone's off. By 9 o'clock. Other than when the rugby league's on.
Yep.
On a Thursday night. And early in the week, it's routine.
Yep.
And stick to it. And if you don't stick to it, that's why I don't like going out early in the week. And that works for me. And I have a lot of energy for the weekend.
And how have you figured out what does work well for you? Because there's blokes that I speak to who are 50 or 60 and they still have no idea.
Yeah.
So how have you sort of figured
Give them options.
Yep.
Try this.
Yep.
Try that. Yeah.
So sort of
just communicating, finding out what their issues are and then giving them solutions.
Yep. And then just that trial and error, gaining feedback and redirecting. It is pretty fucking simple when you think about it.
Yep.
But it's also, as we've touched on, like some things that are important to do well is making sure that when you're showing up to training or to those specific things in your life, you're giving it the 100%. Like don't tank it in the fucking airline like I did today. It's like if you're there for a specific reason and you've got an outcome that you want to achieve, put in the fucking work. Like don't look to cut corners because at the end of the day, you may be telling people that you're showing up, but you are going to go to bed, put your head on the pillow and know that you're cutting corners.
Yep.
Doesn't help anyone.
Doesn't help anyone. That's right. Yeah. So I reckon, the communication is probably number one.
You've heard it here first. What would be one piece of advice you'd give to 17-year-old Mucky? Aside from nutrition too.
Beside nutrition. I would say, sleep.
Yep.
Like, it's crazy. I think, like, I'd stay up playing video games and crap like that.
Yep.
Like, just, what? It's 3 a.m.
Actually, I want to ask your opinion on this. Do you think that, there's people who say, I'm a night owl. I can't go to bed early. I can't wake up. Do you think that's bullshit or is that, like, what's your thoughts around all of that? Knowing what you know.
Well, boxers, for example, like they fight generally late at night, and especially if they're good boxers, they'll fight.
Like main event.
Main event will be, 10, 11, sometimes 12.
I can't even stay up to watch that.
Yeah, it's crazy. So they develop, so they're going to stay up later to get used to
the rhythm, circadian rhythm.
Yep. So there is, for some reasons, definitely I'd believe there'd be some night owls, but I think it's more mindset and getting routine. And
routine's a big one.
Yeah.
And another question I'd love to hear is like building a successful team, obviously in the NRL, and there's a team behind boxers and stuff like that. What do you feel like has a successful team? Because you see some teams on paper, I would say Newcastle. Like on paper, Newcastle look pretty awesome, but they just can't seem to put it together. Like, what do you feel are some things that are important in building a team? And I know communication. You're like, fucking communication, mate. Just
I wasn't going to say that. I would have to say, in going off situation with Newcastle, I reckon the training ethics, the intensity at training.
Yep.
I think there's a couple of guys in that situation that wouldn't be putting in as much as they should, and it shows on the field.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a fair few boys sort of, they go well in patches.
Yep.
And fatigue sort of.
So do you think there could be stuff taught around, obviously, we warm up. You don't warm your arms up to do a leg session. You warm your legs up and all of that sort of stuff. So going into training, like maybe doing because I've started following Comp Train, for example, and Ben Bergeron, before you do your sessions, there's all of this pre-work to get your head in the game for what you're looking to achieve out of it, why you're working at certain intensities. Is that done, or is that?
Yeah, it is. We're fortunate. We have Ben Crow.
Yep.
Come into the Broncos regularly, so it's pretty amazing.
He is amazing.
crazy.
Yeah.
I get like a little giddy.
Oh,
when he
mate, I
comes
get
in.
giddy as well.
Yeah. And so he comes in and the boys didn't know who he was, except for a couple of senior boys. And at first I'd say, what do you think about, that with Crowe, like when he first came in November last year, and they're like, don't, not for me. I'd say to him, just give it a go.
Yep.
Sort of thing. And personally, I feel he's helped a lot of the mindset stuff with the Bronx, because there's not too much different with the team, other than a couple of senior boys that have come in. But they're definitely that mindset has really helped them this year. So the practice that they have and looking at the videos of what they want to achieve for the session is done every game at the Broncos, which is awesome. And they're short and sharp, like the footy boys lose concentration sometimes.
Yeah.
So I know I did when I was watching videos before you're about to go.
Yeah, and or you're thinking, like, I remember when we used to do the vids, and I was just always just sweating like, fuck, what am I going to get ripped about this game? So
well, this is stuff you've basically done well.
Yeah.
Looking at the things or looking at the opposition thing, like things they haven't done well.
Yep.
And what we can expose and learn from that.
Yeah.
And then, a lot of the senior boys speak up and relay it back to, the coaches and what. It works well.
I like it.
Yeah.
Mate, some things I've taken away from this is obviously one, communication, the importance of it. You can always develop communication from emotional, learning how to respond, but even how we articulate things is important. Two, the importance of like environment and team, building a good team culture and what that looks like for the outcomes that you're looking to achieve. And also, like, thirdly as well, don't cut corners. Like, if you want to be successful, like, these are the things that are really important, and that's nutrition, sleep, recovery, and putting it into the actual sessions themselves. Final question for you.
Yes.
And then I'll let you rip off because I know you're a busy man. What is one thing that you're grateful for moving forward? Or actually, let's change that. I was about to combine two. What is one thing that you're excited for moving forward?
Excited for?
Yep. Excited for.
I'm excited for learning more as a strength conditioner and being a senior strength conditioning coach. I'm sort of enjoying what I've been doing, but it's time to step it up. So looking forward to I don't know if you can be a PT for so long, but the S&C sort of thing you can get away with a little bit more. But I don't see why you can't be a PT for a longer time. But I look at improving at the strength conditioning side of things.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I like that, mate. Well, I'm pumped to continue watching your journey. I truly do appreciate your time, mate. And I know there's so much more we could talk about around so many different facets. But where can people follow you on? I know you're pretty.
Follow me.
Yeah.
I'm on Instagram.
Yep.
I'm Uncle T-Bone Bulletproof.
Oh, yeah. I'll share the link. But obviously, mate, it's awesome to see you doing great things. And,
thanks,
I know you've been working hard to get into the roles that you're in now, and it's cool to see it paying off, mate. You do work hard and you put in the fucking work, and it makes me stoked to see it happen.
Yeah, I appreciate it, mate. And thanks for having me on.
Too easy, mate.
See you, brother.
If you got value from that one and you would love to listen to more, make sure you go through the whole bunch of episodes. As I said, there are over 400 episodes with incredible guests who share their skills, their experiences, and also some solo episodes there that are short and sharp. Now, don't forget to leave a review. It means fucking bucket load when you do it. Helps more men when they stumble across a podcast know that there's real value here. So taking that extra 60 seconds, I truly appreciate it. Remember, do something today to be better for tomorrow. Thank you for listening to the Man That Can Project podcast. My name is Lachie Stuart, and I hope you enjoyed this episode and found it helpful. If you did, please take a moment to rate and review the Man That Can Project on your favorite podcast platform. And don't forget to subscribe to stay up to date with our newest episodes. We'll see you again next time.